It's Tommy Kohler with Stocks and Sports. We're coming in and broadcasting from the beautiful hills of Ocala, Florida, here in the Sunshine State of the USA on this Sunday, July 26th, 2020. We wanted to welcome and thank Art Smith, the founder and CEO of Dtgi Technologies. Their stock ticker is Dtgi. He is coming in from San Antonio, Texas, the home of Dtgi. For those of you who are not aware of Dtgi, Dtgi is a multi-year recipient of Deloitte's Fast 500 and Fast 50 awards for recognition as one of the fastest growing technology companies in North America. Their website is https://Dtgi-inc.com. Art, are you there?
I'm here, Tom. Good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm doing wonderful. Thanks you so much.
Good to hear.
Yes, thank you. How are you?
Doing well, Tom. Thanks. Working through the pandemic and crisis we're facing as a nation and as a world, but all things considered, things are going well.
Just thanks so much for taking the time, and that's good to hear. We're just honored and delighted to have you here today with Stocks and Sports. So let's get started with some of these topics. The first one that we should cover is these acquisitions and the press release about financing that were around 10 days ago. So let's get started. It's been a while since we talked back in March 2020. At that time, there was the acquisitions with Dtgi, and there was another one in the making. Why don't you fill us in, Art, or tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, Tom. So we reached a major milestone with this announcement that you're referring to on a $20 million senior credit facility. We've actually been working on this for some time, and the company needed to really scale and get to a point with its acquisition strategy where a financing facility like this could really work for us and for the company. And we're very fortunate to have had a few alternatives and options as we approached the February-March timeframe. And we started working with those different lenders, providing them with specific information on our business plan, of course, due diligence information on our company and on our acquisition targets. And we narrowed it down to a single lender after about 60, 90 days of working through this, and made that decision here recently as per that press release. I can't announce the name yet. We will be able to announce that here in the future. But we're really, really excited about this, reaching this key milestone. Not only is this this financing going to help us with the acquisition of Dtgi and our fourth acquisition that we haven't named yet. It's under letter of intent, but it will be part of this next series of transactions. We're going to close them simultaneously. But not only does it help with this, these next two acquisitions, it provides a facility to move forward with others that we have in the pipeline. So tremendous opportunity for us, and of course all of this happened during the pandemic. So we're very fortunate to be in a position like this. We also announced that we extended the outside date for the Dtgi transaction, and it really all ties back to what we mentioned in the press release related to the financing. It all ties in together. You got to align everything to, get a transaction like this or transactions like these done. So it's all aligned. So we're looking forward to the next step here in closing these transactions.
No, that's great news. It's good to hear all this positive news. Basically, it said on your website, the combined business, T3, Dtgi, and the fourth acquisition will serve 2,600 business customers and approximately 28,000 users while generating over $14 million in annual revenue. So this is huge.
It is. That's correct, Tom. It's going to more than double the size of the company. It's going to almost triple the size of our customer base today with business. As you know, we serve businesses, And of course, our main emphasis today is in the markets of Florida and Texas. And we're going to serve over 28,000 business users, right? Again, while doubling our revenue, we'll be just over 14 million in annualized revenue. And more importantly, and this is a key part of our strategic plan and our acquisition model, is that we will derive some cost synergies and consolidation savings by integrating these next two acquisitions, and it's only going to help our cash flow and EBITDA. So we'll be in a stronger financial position upon closing these transactions.
No, that's awesome. So let's stay with his balance sheet and then the fundamentals. And then I told you that I met Craig, through social media and Twitter. So from the information that's on Twitter, meaning your balance sheet, from what it looks like, is also really strong with the fundamentals, where it states in one of your releases that Dtgi has added $1 million to the balance sheet. I mean, fill us in a little bit more about this with the balance sheet and the $1 million added to the balance sheet.
Yeah, fortunately, we were in a position towards the end of our fiscal quarter, our third fiscal quarter, which ended April 30th. We were in a position to pay off some operational debt that we had. We actually secured that debt a couple of years ago when we made our second acquisition. And then we also were able to convert some shareholder debt to equity. Obviously, that sends a positive sign. A lot of these investors that had debt with the company were convinced that the equity was going to be of value in the future, improved value, and therefore they converted all of their debt to equity. In total, it was a little over $1 million, $1,021,000 to be exact. So we improved our balance sheet by that much. And of course, as we're going into the next series of transactions, as I mentioned, in this other financing facility, it couldn't have been a better timing for us. So not only did we, as you stated, improve our financial position, improve the balance sheet of the company, I think we also have shown that, our current stakeholders are very bullish on the future of this company.
No, that's awesome. And then we talked a lot, about people, and from some of the past interviews that we had with you, you mentioned, and I agree that you guys are just positioned really well. You have a savvy management team. What has it been like leading, and you're a great leader and CEO. What has it been like leading during, the COVID pandemic? I mean, what's it like?
Well, Tom, it's been challenging. This is the first time for me. I've never dealt with a situation like this. Certainly not a pandemic environment. As you know, it's really affected our economy. It's affected the overall markets. I know we've had a little rebound here recently, which is really positive, especially for companies like ours that are participating in the digital transformation of our economy and our business environment. But, it's been tough. And, I wake up every morning thinking about our team and, families, because there's a lot of families impacted by this, right? And there's a lot of tragic stories out there about those that have come, that have been infected with this disease. And so, first and foremost, we think about our team, we think about our families, we think about our customers, and we've been very fortunate managing through this. Tom, we've taken all the precautionary measures, not only for ourselves as a company, but also as a service provider to our customers. And I believe we've done everything the way it should be done in this situation. And our team remains healthy, and that's a positive thing. But, I think one thing that we've realized in this pandemic is that, excuse me, this is something we can really, our solutions are something we can really feel good about when serving the business community. And I'll tell you why. This was unexpected, of course, the pandemic, and businesses had to really scramble to figure out a way to support a remote working environment. And our solution, our UCaaS solution, is actually key to that. And it allows our customers and business clients to send their workers anywhere. They could be remote, working from home. They could be at a remote facility, right, to be safe, right? And so our solution is ideal for that. And again, it's something we can feel good about as we go out and serve our customers, that we're actually helping them stay safe, right, as a company or as a client of ours. And then our team has really gotten behind that, right? We worked around the clock during the peak of the pandemic back in March and April, and helped many of our customers go remote with their workers through our system. And again, that's just that's something our team feels good about, and that we can feel good about going forward as we help more customers with that type of situation.
No, that's so good to hear. And like how we had talked before, before we went on air, most of the markets have really recovered from the March lows. I mean, the markets have somewhat rebounded, and you guys are there in Texas. I'm here in Florida, and they're two big, really, markets, Texas and Florida. And the markets have recovered. So let's talk a little bit about growth and momentum for the second half of 2020. Plus we got this election year coming. I mean, how is Dtgi positioned for growth and with momentum? I mean, with momentum, investors and traders always looking for undervalued companies like Dtgi that have strong management teams, your local touch with great customer service, great people. Basically, you guys are a growth and momentum company that has a strong balance sheet and really strong fundamentals. I mean, what's your take on this growth and momentum, for the second half of 2020?
Well, it's a couple things to point out, Tom. First of all, we're going to be working on closing these transactions that more than double the size of the company, and puts us in a really good position to serve a broader base of customers, both in Texas and in Florida and other parts of the United States. So we're really excited about that, and being able to really leverage, this next series of acquisitions to grow at an even faster pace. As I mentioned before, we also have other acquisitions in the pipeline that likely we can now accelerate in terms of growth through acquisition with this of the $20 million facility that we're working on closing. So coming into the end of the year, we're in a really good position financially. We're in a really good position from an operational foundation to grow the business. And again, we've got the ability to probably accelerate some of our acquisitions that are in the pipeline. Second, I would say, the pandemic, as I just mentioned, has accelerated demand for remote working solutions. And again, we participate in a cloud computing environment that allows us to really help our customers as this is happening. So the accelerated adoption of cloud-based communications is going to be a positive for us. And quite frankly, again, it's something we can feel good about when we help our customers stay safe, right, in this pandemic environment. So I think, and again, you mentioned the elections. We understand, that always has an impact on the markets, and we can't control that. All we can do is do what we do every day, and that's go out there and take care of our customers. And just as you said, focus on that local touch, focus on that great customer service, and focus on solving problems for our customers. At the end of the day, that's what we're all about. And we take care of that, and everything on Wall Street is going to take care of itself. As we execute on that plan, fundamentally on Main Street, Wall Street will take care of itself. And I feel confident that, we're going to see a breakthrough on our stock price at some point, and continue to work towards our objectives, which includes, as you know, uplisting to NASDAQ or NYSE American.
Yeah, that's what I was going to try to close this out with. From your past experience, you have experience taking other companies from the OTC markets onto the New York Stock Exchange. Do you see a possible uplist in the future to maybe the NASDAQ over time? I mean, is it safe to say that a potential uplist from the OTC exchange onto the NASDAQ would be another part of the plan for Dtgi to innovate? And then I guess in closing too, why don't we let you, elaborate on that? And then in closing with that, is there anything else in addition to that you'd like to mention before we close this out?
Yeah, Tom, so we absolutely have a plan to uplist the company to a primary stock exchange, NASDAQ or NYSE American. We've done this before with other companies. As you know, this management team has created nearly $1 billion in market value through a similar strategy as to what we're doing here, taking a growth company and listing it on a primary exchange. We feel that with confidence that we can get that done. As you say, it's not our first rodeo. We've done this before. And fortunately, we're in a really good business environment. We're in a situation where it is ripe for growth and ripe for consolidation. And I think the one thing I'd like to point out as part of their closing is that it's a very fragmented market, and I think I've mentioned this in some of the previous interviews, Tom. It's a very fragmented market. The companies we're looking to acquire, which are typically in the $2 to $10 million range in terms of service revenue and profitable, that have done a really good job of taking care of their customers at a local level. And that local touch is really key for us. There's a lot of those companies out there. They're numerous. There's thousands of them out there in the United States, right? In Texas, Florida, and other parts of the U.S. And so I feel we've got a really good opportunity once we uplist to accelerate our plan and go beyond just what we have in the pipeline today, right? In our current, in the next series of acquisitions as well. I think we can go well beyond that and create a company of significant value by continuing to consolidate these smaller operators. Again, while sticking to a very basic concept of taking care of our customers on Main Street, right, with that local touch, and just doing a better job than the other guys at providing solutions for the business market. So we're pretty excited about the future and looking forward to telling our story more and more as we go forward.
No, we can't thank you enough. And I guess in closing, just thank you once again, Art, for taking time out on a Sunday. Just enjoy the rest of the weekend. Signing off for Stocks and Sports and Dtgi, Tommy Calder and Art Smith.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Art.